chair Pilates class for you today, and it's going to be all seated, okay? So this is a great class to do if you need to avoid weight-bearing exercises on your feet. Maybe you have a sprained ankle, or just maybe you don't feel like getting down onto the mat. For equipment, you are going to need a chair without arms, and it needs to have a back, so don't use a stool. We need a back today. And you're going to need a long resistance band. I'm using a TheraBand, but if you have a band with handles at the end, that would work too. Don't go too heavy with the band because we're going to thread it under our seat for part of it. You do want a decent range of motion, okay? Now, class is all seated, so in some respects, it's more supported than if we were doing something on the mat or standing, but it's still pretty challenging. So like I mentioned, I kind of designed this with people in mind who just want to avoid weight-bearing exercises on their feet, sprained ankle, whatever the reason might be. It's not so much suited for elderly populations, which I know we usually associate chair yoga, chair Pilates with. So just something to note before we get into it. Now, our setup to start is we're going to have the band woven under the seat, and then we'll grab the ends, one in each hand. We're going to start with a warm-up, and that's going to bring us into our first bout of upper body work. And if you're new to my class, I am STOTT trained, and I put my own flair on top of that, so going to be different from Classical Pilates. So for our warm-up, we're going to start with hands on our knees, but just have the band so that it's easy to grab. And we want our feet about sitting bones distance apart, heels under knees, and we're going to start with tilting of the pelvis, okay? So as you inhale, I want you to roll the pelvis forward into an anterior tilt so you have a big arch to the lower back. And then as you exhale, I want you to find a posterior tilt, scooping back, engaging through the core, so kind of rolling behind the sitting bones. As you inhale, you're coming through anterior pelvic tilt. You might need to scoot forward on your chair a little bit. Exhale, scoop it back. And just keep moving like that, so we're mobilizing through the lumbar spine here. This will come into play a little later, okay? We're going to shift the focus from warming up the lumbar spine into warming up more the mid-spine. So one more time, exhale. And then as you inhale, I want you to stack the spine up tall, so now we're neutral through that lower spine. Now from here, we're going to lift the arms up, palms face in, thumbs point up. And as we exhale, we're going to nod the chin, and we're going to roll forward, reaching the arms forward, keeping them parallel to the floor, so we have this big opening through the mid-back. And then as you inhale, you're going to stack the spine back up tall to neutral, and then let's do a reverse fly. So retract the shoulder blades, open the arms up wide. You're going to bring them back through center. Exhale, roll it forward. So when we're rounded forward, the shoulder blades are protracted or they're wide. And as we do this reverse fly, we retract them. I'm just going to loop the band around my fingers so that it stays in place. When you do that reverse fly, don't flare open through the rib cage. We're going to do one more like this, rounding forward. Stacking the spine up tall to neutral. We reverse fly open, and this time hold with the arms wide. We're going to do a sweep. So I want you to bring the arms up overhead, kind of like you're making a snow angel. And then you're going to lower the arms, not all the way, though. I want you to keep a little tension on the band. So we sweep them up overhead, mindful that we stay connected to our core, don't flare open through the rib cage, and down just a little bit lower than halfway. All right, so we are going to gradually, as we wrap up this warm-up, take this into our first round of upper body work, which will be shoulder focused. It's going to be a lot of shoulder work today. It's kind of just the nature of the position and the equipment. Now, next time you sweep down, I want you to hold at about shoulder height, and I just want you to bend the elbows in, kind of like bicep curl, or it is a bicep curl, and then send them long. We draw them in, keep the elbows lifted, and out. We're going to do a little bit of lateral flexion before we isolate the shoulders. So next time you curl it, I want you to stop at 90 degrees, so kind of goalpost arms. Starting on your right arm, I want you to press the right arm up, and then I want you to side bend over to the left, and just reverse it. We come up tall, that elbow bends down, other side, left arm reaches tall, side bend, opening up through the side body, bring it up, lower down, keep alternating, reach, side bend. Oh, that should feel nice. Let's do one more to either side. Last time. You're going to come back. You're going to pause in goalposts. And then from here, we're going to go into a shoulder press, both arms together. So you press those arms up and you lower them down. Don't lose tension on the band. So don't bring them so low that the band goes slack. Up overhead and down. So we got shoulders. We also got biceps here. If you feel your grip slipping, try wrapping the band, okay? You can even hook it around your thumbs. We're going to take this into a pulse up next. You're going to give me 2 more full range up, lower it down, up, lower it down just to goalpost, and a little pulse up and down, up and down. We have a shoulder shaper coming up next. So we'll keep the elbows lifted, we'll close the forearms in front of our face and open them back out in 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the elbows at 90, you close it in front of your face and open them back up. When you open back up, really retract the shoulder blades, get those arms wide, squeezing into the mid-back, but without arching into your lower back and puffing open to the front of your rib cage. Woo, I'm feeling that burn. So we're going to hold with the elbows parallel, or the forearms parallel, I should say, but about shoulder distance apart up next. So next time you close those arms in, keep them about shoulder distance apart, and I just want you to lift and lower. Now I want them parallel, so notice if the elbows are wanting to wing out wide, don't let them. So think number 11 here, up and down. We have 2 more variations, we'll shake it out before repeating. You're going to hold those elbows at shoulder height. Fingertips are going to come together, elbows stay this distance at first. In 3, 2, 1. Hold the elbows at shoulder height, bring your fingertips together. So we now have a triangle here. Squeeze the elbows in, tap, woo, tap. They may not physically touch, and that is okay. You're just squeezing them in as close as you can. Keep sitting upright, bracing through the core. In 4, you're going to hold. In 3, squeeze the elbows together. In 2, final hold, squeeze those elbows together, lift up 1 more inch, hold, breathe. You're here for 4, open up the arms wide to goalpost. In 3, in 2, open the elbows up, straighten the arms to the side, and then lower them down, let that band go slack. Awesome job. Give me a couple shoulder circles, shrugging them back and forward. So we're going to go through that shoulder press series 1 more time. Second time we go through it, it'll be a little quicker. Again, I'm just kind of looping the band around 1 finger. You could loop it around your palms though as well. Oh, get it to stick. All right, we'll start with our full range shoulder press. So we press those arms up and lower them down. I have the bands going behind my forearms, as you can see, kind of hooked behind my elbows. But if it's more comfortable, you can have them in front as well. Let's make sure we're neutral to the pelvis. And notice if as we go through this, you have the tendency to want to cross at the ankles, shift the legs around. I really want your feet to stay planted. Thighs parallel, neutral through the pelvis, tall and upright through the spine. So a kind of roadmap of class. This is your first round of upper body, big shoulder focus. This will take us into some core work. We'll go back to some upper body work, still shoulders, but more chest focused. Then we'll get into lower body. Next time you lower those elbows down to 90 degrees, take it to your little pulse. Up, up. Shoulder shapers in 3, 2, 1. Hold the elbows at about shoulder height. You close the forearms in, you open them up, and when you open them up, you really retract through those shoulder blades. So you're picturing the scapula gliding wide as the forearms come in front, gliding together as the forearms open. Maintain length through the back of your neck so that you're not jutting the head forward and back as you do this. We're going to hold the arms in front, parallel, shoulders distance apart so they will not be touching for little pulses. So next time you close in, hold them parallel, lift, and lower, pressing up and down. You're thinking number 11 with those forearms. Hands will come together, elbows will squeeze in 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at shoulder height, fists together, palms together, and then we squeeze those elbows in. Squeeze them together. Maybe they tap, Maybe they don't physically touch. That's fine too. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We're going to hold in 3, 2. This time you squeeze them in, hold them in, lift them up 1 inch higher. You got this. You're here for 4. Band comes out from under your seat in 3, 2, 1. Lower those arms. Oh, give me some shoulder rolls. So we're going to take the band out from under the seat. We're going to hold it in our hands in front, and I'm going to turn my chair to the side for this because it's going to give you a better view, but you can stay exactly as you are. So we're going to focus on core, hip flexors, and some shoulder mobility stuff. So for this section, you're going to want to scoot to the front edge of your chair so that we have space to roll back a little bit, okay? And we're going to have our legs together, knees bent to start with heels just about under knees. And then we're going to grip the band in our hand. So I'm going to wrap it around my hands like this so we have a little tension on it. And start by just reaching the band forward at chest height. We're going to start with a half roll back. So as you exhale, just like we did in the warm-up, you're going to scoop, rolling to the back of your sitting bones. As soon as your back starts to lightly touch your chair, that is your signal to roll it back up. So we're scooping through the lower abs, rolling it back and up. Now we have the back of the chair, so this isn't going to be a terribly huge movement, and that is absolutely fine. We want to get that lower abdominal engagement as we scoop back and then roll it up tall to neutral. Now we're going to hold it back up next. Very important, when we hold it back, I don't want you to just lean all your weight into the chair, okay? If you need it for support to modify, you absolutely can. But otherwise, I want your lower abdominals doing the work to hold you back in the scooped position, okay? So next time you exhale and scoop, rolling to the back of those sitting bones, I want you to hold here. And from here, it's just a little pull apart on that band. Think of the retraction of the shoulder blades we've talked about before. A little pulse here. We're open through the chest. Now maintain that scoop. That's important. We're going to hold a little tension on the band, but the hands will not be out as wide as possible. And we're going to lift those arms over our head and then lower them back down to chest height, staying scooped. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Now from here, we're going to lift those arms overhead without changing the shape of the rest of our body and then lower them down. So we got to really maintain that core engagement. If you're tight through the shoulders, those arms might not get up all the way, and that is fine. Maybe you just reach them up at a diagonal and down. If you do have the shoulder mobility, you're going, kind of think biceps reaching back towards and being in line with your ears. Now we're going to hold the arms overhead and we're going to go back to that half roll back coming up in 3, 2. Next time those arms come overhead, they're going to stay overhead. We're going to roll up, exhale, roll it back, keeping those arms, again, aim for in line with the ears and up. It's that little scoop. We're keeping tension on the band here. So we are going to really challenge the hip flexors up next. We'll do one side and then the next. I want you to give me 2 more just like this. Can you get those arms back a little farther? Last time. And then when you come up to the top, I want you to pause. I want you to lower those arms back down to chest height. And now I want you to take your right leg and I want you to extend it straight. Keep your left knee bent, left foot on the floor, okay? We're going to do a combo. It's going to start the same. As you exhale, you're going to do that half roll back coming behind the sitting bones. And now holding low here, you're going to reach the arms overhead. And as you do, reach long through that right leg. It is going to lift up, arms lower, leg lowers, and we roll it back up to start. Half roll back, stay on the same side. Leg lifts, arms go overhead, lower them down, and up. If you're trying to build up to a full teaser down on the mat, doing this in a seated position like we're doing today, this is a great stepping stone, a great way to build up to it. Now, if doing this with a straight leg is too much, you can always do it with a bent knee. Lift and lower like that. All right, now next time we scoop back, hold the scoop, and I just want you to lift and lower. Leg lifts, arms lift overhead. Don't worry about how high up that leg is going. Hold it really straight so you're squeezing through the quads. Next time you lift up, you're going to hold the arms overhead And I just want you to pulse the leg at the top. Really scoop through the lower abdominals, okay? Pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5. You got it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the arms, lower the leg, roll it up to start. Let's do the other side, okay? So now we bend the right knee, foot is planted, left leg goes long. We're gonna start with our combo. Exhale, roll to the back of the sitting bones. Arms lift overhead as the leg lifts. They lower down. We come back up to start. Keep going this side. So now, because when we do this leg lift, we are in a posterior pelvic tilt, or we're scooped through the lower spine, hopefully you feel a little more core than hip flexors on it, okay? So when we do a leg lift like this, when we're perfectly upright like that, that is a lot of hip flexors and we don't feel the core as much. When we do it scooped, it's a little bit more of an abdominal emphasis. Both are still working. It's not that I don't want you to feel your hip flexors, but I really want you to feel that core engagement. Next time you scoop back, we're going to hold in the scooped position and we're just going to lift and lower. Stay really active through the quads so you stretch that leg long. You give me 2 more, you hold the second one. You're going to hold this next one, arms stay overhead. It's a little pulse of that leg, really scoop. Give me 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the leg, lower the arms, bend the knee, plant the foot, roll it up. Okay, so we're going to come into a little more upper body work. It's going to be some more shoulders, chest focus as well. So we're going to, for this one, we're going to have the band hooked behind our chair, and then we'll wrap it around our hands. So a note here, if the band does slip and come off your chair, you can do it with the band just around your back as well, okay? Try the chair though, because for a couple of the moves, this is gonna be better, all right? But if it slips, no big deal. All right, to start, palms are gonna face the floor, and I want you to send your arms forward in front of you. I've wrapped them around my hands to tighten the band a little bit. We're neutral through the spine, sitting upright, heels under knees, and we're gonna start with just a hinge, okay? So we're going to lean forward, pushing against the band, and then we're going to come back up. It's pretty small, okay? We hinge it forward, and we bring it back up. So we're going to hold in the hinge position, and we're going to do a chest press. It's not a super big hinge. You're not bringing your chest to your thighs by any means. Next time you hinge it forward, I want you to hold so we have this good tension on the band, and you're going to bend the elbows, and you're going to chest press, bring it forward. Now we're bracing through the core here. We're maintaining our long neutral spine in this hinged position. We press it forward and back. So let's use this opportunity to tune back into our breath. We inhale through our nose in Pilates, expanding through the rib cage 3-dimensionally. And then we exhale slowly out through the mouth. As we exhale out through the mouth, there's a 360 brace of the abdominal wall as the ribs move gently in and down. Now, next time the arms go forward, let's switch it up. You're going to press those arms forward, and from here, it's going to be a little shuffle. Over, under, over, under. You're going to feel chest, but you're going to feel top and front of shoulders here too. Keep going. I'm just losing my band. I got to grip. There we go. Over, under. So we're going to take this into a chest fly up next. We're going to come upright for it though. So in 8, 7, 6, 5, palms face in 3, 2, last shuffle, hold those arms shoulders distance apart and just rotate so the thumbs point up, palms face in, and then let's bring our torso upright. We're going to open the arms up wide, and then it's a chest fly in like you're hugging someone, so we're not stick straight through the arms. Now, I don't just want you to focus on the closing in, I also want you to focus on the opening, and when you open, we slide those shoulder blades in towards each other. So we get this retracted position, and from there we come forward. If you need more tension of the band, just scoot to the front edge of your seat. When you open those arms, make sure that you're not flaring open through the rib cage. So those same shuffles we did with the chest press, we are going to do with the chest fly. Next time you fly in front, little shuffles. Over, under. We're going to repeat this from the top. We'll start with just that torso hinge. Arms reach forward, palms face the floor in 4, 3, keep the elbows lifted as you do this. 2, 1, reach those arms forward, palms face the floor, and now you just hinge the torso forward a little bit and back up tall. Round to a chest press is coming up. We're going to do it in that slightly hinged position, keeping the arms pretty parallel to the floor. Next time you hinge forward, you hold the hinge, we go back to that chest press. So it's like you're sliding your arms across the top of a table. Woo, starting to feel that burn here. Next time those arms go forward, you're going to hold them forward and we go into that shuffle. Over, under. Around to a chest fly coming up next. Palms will face in towards each other. We'll come upright with the torso. In 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Flip palms in towards each other, thumbs point up. Come upright through the torso. We open the arms up wide and chest fly them in. We retract the shoulder blades as we open. Fly it forward. So as you do this, notice if your elbows are wanting to drop down in towards the center of gravity, keep them lifted. We have that over-under shuffle to finish. And then band is going to come around our thighs. We'll finish with a little bit of hip work. Over, under, let's go. Next time you fly them in, it's over, under, over, under. Keep the elbows lifted. Give me 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Upper body is done. In 2, 1, lower those arms. You can roll out the shoulders. And now we are going to, I'm going to turn to face you for this one again, because it'll be easier, but you can stay where you are. We're going to wrap the band around our thighs and use it for resistance there, okay? This is your last section of class, then we cool it down. So you're going to take the band, and what I want you to do is first lay it across the top of your thighs, and then you're going to cross it below, and then you're going to knot it on the top, okay? So you're just going to make a quick double knot so that it stays in place, and now we essentially have made a loop band. All right, so we're going to focus on hip flexors and the deep rotators in the hip joint with this section, okay? So we'll start with our right leg as the focus. So our anchoring left side, you're mirroring me. I just want you to step it out a few inches so instantly there's tension on the band. It's angled out just a little bit, okay? If that is too much though, depending on how tight you have this band, you can bring it back parallel, okay? Now, our arms can reach forward, they can rest on our hips, down by our sides, doesn't matter, but I want you to make sure that you're staying tall and upright, okay? We're gonna start with just a simple step out to the side, step back to center on this right side. So you're gonna exhale, you're gonna pick it up, press it out, plant it down, and then back. So it's like you're stepping up and over something. Now this is going to be key throughout this section. Remember when we did that half rollback work in the core section? When we started lifting the legs, we were behind the sitting bones. We were in the scooped pelvic position. We're not going to come into that position this time. We're going to stay upright. So whereas previously it was really lower abdominals, we're isolating more hip flexor work here. Now, as this right leg moves in and out, stay stable through this side. Notice if the knee is wanting to wobble in and out. This outer hip is working. Now we're going to hold it out and we're going to pulse at a hover up next. So next time you move it out to the side, keep that foot at a hover and just give me a little pulse out on the band, out, out. Now at any point if you need support, you can take your hands under your seat lightly to help keep your torso upright and level, okay? It's a little harder, requires a little more core control if you don't grip. Now we're going to keep this leg at a hover, but we're going to bring it forward. We're going to find internal, external rotation in 3, pulse 2, pulse 1. Keep it at a hover, but bring it pointing forward. And now we're going to windshield wiper that shin. Internal, external, it's at the smallest hover. So I want you to think about what is happening. You're seeing my shin go whoop, whoop, side to side. But where the movement is originating is in this hip joint. It's my head of my femur, my upper thigh bone, rotating within the hip joint. Now we're going to go back to pulses out on the band, but we're going to do them holding external and holding internal rotation. So it'll be a little funky, okay? First, I want you to hold external rotation. So that's heel in, knee out. Holding this external rotation, really squeeze in the hip joint, just pulse out on the band. Out, out. You can be pointed or flexed through the ankle, whatever feels natural. Out, out on the band. If you need more tension, just step your anchor leg out wider. Pulse wide, wide. Notice you're starting to lean back away from it. I want you to try to stay upright. Make those hip flexors work. In 4, we're going to come through center. In 3, same thing, but internal. In 2, 1, I want you to come through center, hold it at a hover. And now let's find internal rotation. You'll have to be flexed through the foot for this so you have space probably. Now pulse out on that band. This one's funky. So I'm just going to use my seat for a little bit of support to help hold me centered. I'm internally rotated, now pushing out on that band. Woo! We have one more little finisher, one more round of pulsing out. We're going to come through center. We're going to try to do it with a straight leg. Thigh will be parallel and we'll push out in 4. Pulse 3, maintain the internal rotation. 1, bring it through center. It's parallel. Can you kick this leg straight? Now pulse out on that band. Woo, for 8, 7, 6. Lift it a little higher. Give me 4. Give me 3, 2, 1. Oh, bend the knee, lower it down. You can windshield wiper those knees side to side. Woo, good job. So we're going to do that whole series on the other side, and then we cool down, okay? So we're getting there. So we come through center. Right leg is going to be the anchor now. It can stay right where it is. If you need a little extra tension on the band, mine's just starting to slip a smidge, then I would step it out slightly. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to start, step up and over something, okay? So picture there's a small object stepping up and over, up and over. A little note in case I forget to say it at the end of class, you are going to want to undo this knot as soon as you're done with class. If you let your band sit around knotted, it's really hard to get the knot undone. But if you take it off right when you're done with the workout, much easier. So we're going to hold out to the side, foot at a hover for those little pulses. Coming up in 4, 3, 2. Next time you step it out, don't plant the foot down, hold it at a hover, pulse out on that band. Out and back, back. Not wobbling through this knee. Back, back. I shouldn't have played around with the band. I made it worse. Think of pressing back on the exhale. It doesn't have to be a very high hover, okay? Focus on pressing out, out. So we're going to play around with rotation in this hip joint up next. We'll bring the leg back to center, and we're going to windshield wiper internal to external in 8. Hold at a hover in 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it at a hover, but just bring it to center. And now we're going to windshield wiper. So again, we're thinking about where the movement is originating. In this hip joint, that thigh is rotating side to side. Don't worry about the range of motion so much. You may find you get more one direction than the other, very normal. We'll hold external rotation up first, and we'll again pulse out on that band. All right, one more. And then when you go external, so foot points in, we're going to pulse out on the band. Out, out. So a big endurance challenge for the hip flexors, because we're keeping that leg at a hover, also getting those abductors and those external rotators. All the little muscles that control the hip joint. Squeezing into your outer glutes as you pulse out. We'll find internal up next. Same deal, pulsing out on the band. This one feels funky, I know. In 4, pulse 3, 2, 1. Bring it to center, keep it a hover, and now let's find internal rotation. So really spiral that thigh inward, and then we pulse out and back on the band. Out and back. Now don't let the leg come out of that internal rotation. I know this one is funky. Out, out. Notice if the foot is wanting to come down towards the floor, keep it pointing kind of back and up. Stay upright and center through the torso. You can always grip the seat to help you. We have one more round of pulsing out on the band. It's going to be with a straight leg if possible. If it's not, keep a bent knee and just bring thigh to parallel. Pulse 4 internal, 3, maintain the internal, 2, 1, bring it through center, hold at the hover. Can you straighten that leg out? Pulse out on the band. Don't scoot back, okay? Remember, we're trying to sit upright. Woo, it's hard, reach long. You're here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the knee, take the band off. Awesome work. And start, you can just windshield wiper those knees side to side a little bit. Oh, woo. All right, so quick cool down. I'm just going to bring you through a couple stretches. Let's start by finding a figure 4 cross, staying seated. And then we're just going to first sit upright and then hinge forward, chest towards the leg. Should feel outer hip here. So if you like this class, I have another chair Pilates all seated workout up using light hand weights instead of a resistance band. That's a good one. That has like a lot of sneaky oblique work mixed into it. It's fun. We'll switch sides. And with these stretches, if you are doing it because you have an injury to your foot, then of course, if this position is not good, if there's something going on with your ankle, don't do this stretch, okay? And then let's bring our feet wide, and we're going to forward fold. Let's bring our right hand to the center on the ground, and we're just going to twist open. And then we're just going to switch sides. Left hand plants, right arm twists open. Let's do one more to either side. Last time. And then slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, we're going to roll it up to stand. Let's finish with one deep breath together. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, let it go. And that is your class. Awesome work today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new workouts here every week. See you next time.